Okay, first of all, I'd like to ask if anyone has a question of Mr. Davis. If you could raise your hand, please. Okay, back there, the lady in the red hat. If you could stand up and tell us your name and where you live.
My name is Eileen Kenyon, and I live on East Northampton Street. And my question, Mr. Davis, is where would these clients be coming from? Would they be coming from the Wilkes-Barre area, or would they be pulled from the state? You know, anywhere in the state?
Well, that decision is not final yet, because I'm trying to, the first step in building a program like this is that you have to get a zoning issue settled. The next step is to get a contract with whoever could provide you residence. At this point, I'm not going to that step yet, except that I did promise the federal U.S. Marshal, Marshal Payne, that I would not ever put any federal offenders in this program because of the federal courthouse next door. And when he came to talk to me, and I talked to him after the hearing, that I made that promise. So the people would be coming from, hopefully, the county, if I can arrange to get the county to participate. And if not, then I have the opportunity of bringing in people that have been in state prison.
From outside the county.
Well, the state, you don't have any state prisons in.
Exactly.
But they're residents and they're local area. Right now, in my facility in Harrisburg, I probably have 15 or 20 guys right now that are from this area, but they have to live in Harrisburg because there's no facility up there. My goal is always to try to get the people to go to their home area. Now, this is the northern part of the state compared to Harrisburg. So if I have people that live up in this general area, I will transfer my clients that I have to this facility so they have a better chance of reuniting with their families up in this area. I'm not going to bring people from Philadelphia, not going to bring people from Pittsburgh. That would be ludicrous, and there's no reason for me to do.
Okay.
Yes, time.
Okay, we had a security question, we discussed that. We had a personnel question. We had a question about whether MinSec is the same as this company and the thing you're intending to do here. The answer to that is that it is not, even though there might be some similar personnel in it. Okay, does someone else have a question of Mr. Davis? Sir, in the front.
Yeah. I'm concerned about the back. I'm Chris O'Donnell. I'm concerned about the background of the people that will be coming into the facility. You addressed before that you wouldn't have sexually violent predators. Is that the legal definition of sexually violent predator? Because you know that you can commit a forcible rape and not be deemed a sexually violent predator. So,
Rape,
you know.
rape is out. Any
Well,
kind
I mean,
of, with the exception of the one example I gave you, rape is out.
will there be a written policy on certain charges will exclude you from this facility?
I will allow the zoning board to make the conditions that they can't be in.
Well,
I will
you
address
as the
it to the
director,
zoning board.
you as the director, would you
Excuse
put
me?
this in, you as the director, would you have a written policy for, say, there are certain things that exclude you from IPP?
Yeah.
You understand those?
My facility directors,
And would you have the same restrictions of your facility?
the answer is yes, and my facility directors review every case. What happens, folks, with the Department of Corrections cases is we get a packet. We get a packet, they come in every so many days. We get the packet. We review the packet. We read their background. We read their history. We read their charges. And the Department of Corrections knows, based on my zoning ordinances, that I can't take certain people. Those packets never get into my box. I don't even get them. So I don't have to review them. But every once in a while we may get a borderline case, at which point my facility director looks at it, says, nah, doesn't work, or if he calls me on the phone, or in Harrisburg, he walks upstairs, we look at it, and we decide the case.
Okay, I'd like to move on to another subject. First, just to make sure, does anybody have any questions further of Mr. Haas? Okay, of Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
My name is David LaCour, and I live at 218 South Franklin Street. I've been in this area all my life of 57 years, so I certainly am concerned about Wilkes-Barre and the surroundings. My question is, you say you've been operating for 10 years in your facility now. How has that been possible with the zoning variances? I believe your zoning is for apartments, not for a facility of corrections. And how has that been happening for 10 years?
Well, as a landlord in the city of Wilkes-Barre, okay, We have tenants who come in with ankle bracelets that get remanded back to their families. I mean, you know, say you rent a property
Right,
from me,
I do.
and from me, and now your wife gets out of jail. I don't get notified. Now,
No,
whether
but this
there's
is a totally
restrictions-
different thing, sir. This is a facility where you're housing a number of people who we can say are clients or inmates who are coming to a facility
no,
that has been set up for a program.
But excuse me, and maybe it's just terminology, but inmates that I did work with Luzerne County Prison, and the judges sent, as a landlord, sent people to live in these apartments.
Are they paying rent?
Yes.
And how is that rent being paid and who's paying it?
Well,
Because I believe that
But
talking to the
we're-
zoning department,
it-
that the zoning had to be aware of the fact that this was a facility for people who were being rehabilitated or transitioned into a new situation in the community. Now, for me, looking at you and saying, you're making us feel like we don't have a heart, I certainly do. I taught for 21 years, underprivileged children, to bring them into a good community, all right? I didn't profit from it. I wasn't paid. There was no profit there. I didn't have to apply. I had to abide by regulations. But you're saying that, you know, there's a financial gain for you with this as well.
Well,
Not just out of the goodness of your heart, you're taking care of these people.
if I may, my last year's income tax, which really
We would
is
like
no-
to see. Where are those? Where are
I
your,
would love to show
your
you.
financials?
My last-
And where are your financials? So we know what's going on here.
When-
Where are the financials?
When it's done, can I?
Sure.
Now,
I'm done.
to answer this, my last year's financial, I was a minus $162,000. Okay? Now, out of the kindness of my heart is how people got to live on South Main Street. Some people, yeah, you know what? They pay $300 a month rent. Some people. But I want to say that most people, wow, that's a big word, most didn't pay because they couldn't pay.
You know, on this same vein, before we move on, which I would like to do, I think the question is really that there's so much negative possibility in Wilkes-Barre for these people to get pulled into. That's the question. Is this really the best place for this?
But
That's-
they're from here.
Right.
They live in this area. I mean,
Where do you want to put it?
It's
got to be
okay.
walking distance to these things, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. The question, or I think a comment, is the people are here now, and I believe you would say that, and this simply puts them into a more structured environment.
No, we say no.
Okay, I'm Siobhan O'Donnell, and I live at 272 South River Street. So a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, I developed and facilitated a program at Luzerne County Correctional Facility, which was in existence for several years, which was called SCOOP, which was Stay Clean and Out of Prison. So it was working with women who to reduce recidivism. So I totally understand the need for the type of thing that you're talking about. What I think is really concerning me is you guys are giving different information, and it's really important that it be clear. You are not saying where the people are going to be coming from. You haven't made any agreements with anybody. These aren't necessarily people that are criminals that lived and born and raised in Wilkes-Barre. You're not saying that. You're saying that, but you don't know that they're not from Philadelphia.
I'm saying there are 200 people a month released, basically.
He hasn't made a contract with Luzerne County.
Wait a second,
He has not made a contract.
Wait a second, ladies.
You can't say
That's
that.
state.
Ladies and gentlemen.
listen, you
please.
should really be
Please, Mr.
addressing
Casey.
these things directly at me.
Right, okay.
Because
Right.
if I get the approval, I'm the one that's going to do it.
Right,
Mr. Casey, Mr. Casey, and Mr. Casey.
Is it just that, are you just buying the building from them? Is that what's going on? Or
No.
is he gonna be running
It's
for
for
this
profit.
program?
That's a key question.
I'm buying the building from them, and I'm hoping that Mr. Casey will stay on and work with me to facilitate Wilkes-Barre.
Okay.
Mr.